After receiving an admission letter to the university, I had started looking for an accommodation, and so did my counselors with whom I was going through with this entire process. All this was going on for about 3 weeks, or I would call it a month or two. Every week, my counselor used to spend their valuable time finding apartments for me. I used to receive Excel sheets with all this data updated each week. However, I personally didn't like any of it. I don't mean to be rude or cause any offense. I know they worked hard. It was their job, and just my opinion, I wanted to be honest with myself. And back then, I remember I was kind of demotivated and had started losing my hopes of finding what I wanted. You won't believe I also used to receive a lot of calls from these third party brokers, but none of them seemed to be providing what exactly I had going on in my mind. I know they had their own business perspectives, and I don't blame them or basically anybody for it. It's just my thought process. With lots of time spent on these affordable housing thing, I eventually started to understand its pattern, and after every search I did, I was kind of more cautious and self aware of what I was exactly looking for. More about this later in the video. Let's get back to the story. What I noticed was common in all these apartments were the websites and sources that these counselors and brokers used to find them. I was observant enough to notice that similar websites were available on my university's website as well. I mean, most of them. And just so you know, my university didn't offer student dorms or any kind of accommodation at that point. They only had these third party websites as brokers listed on their website, and students had to go through them, figure it out on their own, and that's how it was, at least last year. After realizing all the facts and understanding its implications, I was set to apply my knowledge and focused on finding the best deal for myself. The counselor, on the other hand, were doing their part, and I kind of recall my memory. It was maybe the month of September when I accidentally booked my first accommodation through Spot a Home, which is a website again, and it turned out to be the best decision I have ever made, and I don't regret it at all. By far, this is the most requested video, and almost everybody who has approached me has mentioned about it, seeking my advice. Well, today finally I'm going to be relieved after sharing my knowledge and experience with you, my friend. So, one thing I can promise you is, if you watch this video without skipping till the end, then you won't have to watch any other YouTube video or basically ask anybody or pay any counselor to find an accommodation for you. Because hey, I have been there, I have done that, and you know that nobody knows you better than yourself. So only you know what you're looking for and no one else. Before I tell you where to find an accommodation or how to book one, here are some types of student housings that you must know. The first one is student dormitories or student dorms, which are offered by your university and also called as Studentenwohnheime in Germany. And most of them are managed by the Studentenwerk, or I would say all of them, which means student services from your university, making it one of the most, or I would say the only option for students at a lowest price. The rent starts from 200 to 400 euros per month and typically will include all your utilities and sometimes internet too. I recommend you to apply as early as possible because the waiting time or the list will eventually start getting longer and making your chances fewer. The second type of student housing is shared apartments, also called as.
Wohngemeinschaft or WG.
So the concept here is two students or two people basically will share a single room where the bathroom kitchen is anyways shared by other tenants. And this is popular choice among students as it is not only good for socializing but also will help you manage your expenses and save your money. The rent will usually start from 300 to 600 euros per month depending on the city you live in. It can be different for smaller cities as well as larger cities. And platforms like Wegegesut, eBay Kleinanzeigen are really helpful for finding Vegas and trusted by most of us students. Private apartments is third type of student housing where the room is private but the bathroom and kitchen will be shared. Not to mention, I myself live in a private apartment too, where you will get all the privacy you need, but the cost is a bit higher. Or let's say it's expensive. The rent will start from 500 and can go up to or above 1000 euros per month, especially in larger cities, but I think it will be comparatively less in smaller cities. You can look on platforms like Immobilien Scout 24, Emonet, or several other websites like Housing Anywhere, Spot a Home, Uniplaces, Wunder Flats, Amber, and the list goes on. So just make sure you check each and every one of them. Lastly, fourth type of student housing is studio apartments. Kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, everything included in one place, all for yourself. The rent will start from 500 and can go above 1000, definitely above 1000 euros, or maybe more than that, I'm not sure. And it is not easy to get one because the waiting time is again longer. In Berlin specifically, let me tell you, some of my friends are living in studio apartments which usually costs them like 450 500 euros per month. They got it through Berlinovo, which is again a third party broker from our university. They recently started it, and these are like newly like furnished studios. While some of my other friends who are living in private studio apartments, they are literally paying like around 1000 euros. So that's a big difference. However, you can look for studios on platforms that I mentioned previously, and I'm sure you will find the best deals over there. If in case your intention is to be a lone wolf, then I can't stop you. Additionally, you must also know that there are two types of rents here in Germany, Kaltmiete and Warmmiete. So Kaltmiete here means the cold rent, which is the base rent of your apartment itself, excluding the utilities. Whereas warm meter is the warm rent, which includes your cold rent, that is the rent of your apartment, plus additional costs like gas, water, electricity, and other utilities. So make sure you're mindful enough to see what type of rent you're paying while booking your apartment. In order to apply for a student housing, considering that now you know its types, for student dormitories or dorms, you need to visit Student and Works website for your city and apply directly. Just follow on screen instructions and you're good to go. However, for Vegas, private apartments or studios, you need to create individual profiles on their website or those housing platforms and provide a brief introduction of yourselves and followed along with the documents, important documents such as your proof of enrollment, which is also called as,
Immatrikulationsbescheinigung.
and possibly a Shufa report, which is the credit check. To make your housing search even easier, I've created this free Excel sheet template that you can open up by clicking on the first link in the description of this video. And don't worry, this is 100% free. There's no catch. You don't have to put your information anywhere, or there's no email sign up or any of that mailing list sort of thing. This is 100% free, like my other documents that I shared previously. So once you click on the link, you will be at this page and you will have a viewer access, which means You directly cannot edit this document on the browser. However, you can export it. Let me show you how. Click on File. Here you will see the download icon. Click like hover over this and you can basically export it to any format that you want. Once you export it, it will get downloaded and you can start using this template. So I assume you have done that, and let me just give you a quick overview of it. I have just added a few serial numbers. You can maybe request for more if you want. There are 30 of them. And here there's the apartment section where you will basically write the name of your apartment, its address in brackets if you need to do it, number of tenants if it has two, three, four, five, or maybe more tenants, you can put that here. The link to this accommodation that you found on the internet, its location, here you can specify the entire address, its distance from your university. Just use Google to do it and write it here so that you can compare all your options efficiently later. Then the cost in euros per month, you can put the rent over here. Deposit, it is your safety deposit. Most likely it will be provided on the website itself. Just copy paste it. Tenant fee, this is kind of like not fixed for each and every single accommodation that you find. It can vary, and if they have mentioned any kind of tenant protection fees on that particular apartment, it will be given in the breakdown of the entire amount that you need to pay. So make sure you check that, and if there is any, you can put it over here. Remarks, basically anything you can put anything you can put over here that I haven't mentioned in the other columns. So here's what you should know beforehand. Firstly, begin your search 3 to 6 months before you move, or at least 1 or 2 months before you book your flight tickets, so that you will have sufficient time for all other activities and everything will go as planned. Secondly, expand your search. You can consider nearby towns or suburban areas for a cheaper rent. If your university is in a big city like Berlin, same as mine, then you can consider living in the outskirts for a relatively lower price. And don't worry, transportation is not a big problem. You can always manage that. Plus, as a student, you will have the semester ticket anyways. Thirdly, networking. You can join university groups, be part of forums, or basically connect with people through social media pages where these housing offers are posted. However, I personally do not recommend you to do any of it, as most of the scams that happen on these platforms. And lastly, talking about scams, you should always avoid them or try not to be part of it, as never pay anyone without viewing the property yourselves, and ensure that you have a proper rental contract for the city registration that is unmeldung after coming here. Keep in mind, you can always ask for photos, videos, or schedule a virtual meet with the landlord for checking the property with your own eyes. And lastly, this is the most important point. I don't know if you know this or not, but you should pay the safety deposit in hand to the landlord only after coming here. When they give you the keys and show you the contract, only then. Do not make the mistake of paying safety deposit anytime before, or consider your money is gone. And finally, before we wrap up with this video, here are some cost saving tips for you. First of all, look for subsidies. Some cities offer housing allowance for students, so make sure if it's applicable for you or not. Consider temporary housing like staying in a hostel or Airbnb until you find a permanent place to stay. And you can negotiate your rent. Basically, if you're looking for long term leases or have found the apartment that you want to continue for the next 1 or maybe 2 years, then you can always negotiate the rent with your landlord and it might work. Sometimes it does. And that's it for today. I hope this video helps you find the perfect student housing in Germany. Don't forget to download the free Excel sheet template from the description below as it will help you stay organized with your search. If you have any questions unanswered or experiences to share with me, then please do write them in the comments as I would personally love to see them. If this video has provided you some value, just a bit, then make sure you check out my Studying in Germany playlist where you will find more such content. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video.